Peace, peace, peace. This is New York DJ 360 here, and welcome to another episode of InTheCodeTV.com. Just want to say before we begin, please go to ConsciousConcourse.com and take a look at some clothes. Got some t-shirts, some hoodies, even got a few accessories like blankets and pillows, um, wall art, canvas wall art. It's just trying to expand my creativity into other areas, and I've developed some things that I think that most people would enjoy. So please take a look at ConsciousConcourse.com for clothing with a meaning. Here's one of my new t-shirts. It's like a Pan-African inspired setting. I got the colors, red, the black, and the green, and then, the African American layout, or, the American layout. Hey, I'm not hating, I'm just creating. You know what I mean? Just trying to big up my peoples and do some nice, interesting things. So that's what it's about. So peace, y'all. So also want to say, I want to give my condolences to anybody that's lost anybody throughout this COVID situation. It's very sad. Continue to strengthen your immune systems, continue to wear masks, and be as precautious and safe and clean as you possibly can. Those are key. And you're not going to really have issues if you continue to take care of yourself and others around you. And I also just wanted to also give my condolences to anybody that has lost somebody due to police brutality. It's very sad. So that's actually two of the main reasons for this blog here today. So the reason for the blogs are, for the mishandling of the COVID situation, as well as police brutality, and that this being the year of 2020. And I just wanted to have this show be a bookmark of what's going on. So one of the reasons why the show is called In the Code TV is because there are clues inside of things to allow you to see the bigger picture. And that's what reading between the lines is about. You read between the lines so you can kind of see more of what they were trying to say. They may not have actually said it in those direct words, but the meanings and the effects of those words are what you can now grasp, because you're able to see more, than just reading, or judging a book by the cover, so to speak, So that's basically what the show is about. That's what I've been doing since I started. And, that's what we're going to be about. Okay, so this show here is about how do we want to survive. We're going through this COVID situation, and we're going through this police brutality situation. How do we want to survive? As Americans, we supposed to be here, supposed to be getting along, and creating better opportunities for ourselves, through the things that we do with our talents, our careers, our families. So it's supposed to be creating better opportunities for the children and the communities that are coming up. That's supposed to be basically it, and then try to enjoy life, right? But what's going on is you actually have people that's doesn't want to see that, and wants to kill people and wants to rule people in a certain way. I mean, at the end of the day, we have accepted this American system, to become one where we can all get along, but we find that that's not what's happening. It's not as much freedom as we had originally thought. And it's the simple things like when the emancipation actually happened. It took 2 years for the information to reach the whole of the United States. So it's simple examples of that which may show you why we may have problems to the day. Um, I mean, look, when you have a cop that's looking at a camera then smiling at the same time kneeling on somebody who's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, that's so disrespectful. And you can't say that's him doing his job. You got to be like, I think that's him taking advantage of his power. And unfortunately, that's what we have a lot of cops doing. And unfortunately, this is what we have the president doing. The president of the United States is abusing his power by not speaking up against racism and not battling this COVID-19 situation appropriately. Like, I definitely give props to Cuomo, the governor of New York, because he shut things down pretty quickly. As a country, I wish we started shutting things down in December and January, February, when this thing started to come over from Europe as well as Asia. Okay, but we didn't shut things down until March. Okay, but we started to shut things down, and at that time, you started to see a whole bunch of other states kind of just celebrate the fact that they haven't gotten the situation as heavily as California, Washington, and New York were getting it, and you know, had people running to the states or was just not as in a shutdown mode like New York was in a shutdown mode. So, because of that non shutdown mode, and because they were just so happy that they weren't the first places to start seeing the breakouts, now 3 months later they're the ones that's having this breakout and having that same situation that what we've went through in the past happen to them now, which wasn't even necessary if they would have taken the proper precautions to shut down, wear masks, and kind of do social distancing. So what I'm trying to say is, it's known, it's a fact that yes, Mr. President, if you did the right thing by making sure the states were taking care of themselves by shutting down appropriately, or by having them tell their citizens to wear masks, then it wouldn't be as bad as it is now. And I'm just letting that be known, okay? That New York DJ 360 knows that. It's out here on indecodetv.com, and now my people know that. So, you know, the media games that they play, you know, when the facts are out, they can only do so much and they can only go so far. And, that's the good thing about um, um, entertainment, media, digital, the digital conversation, is because you can get information out there much faster than you could back in the days, no doubt, definitely. But you can also miss the good information, and then you can also filter people certain information where they're going to be now stuck thinking in a certain mind frame or a certain way. I mean, that's how certain news and certain channels, filter their information. CNN is only like a Democratic channel, where Fox News is only like a Republican channel. I mean, that's even ridiculous in itself, because the media is supposed to be for everybody, not just for the certain factions that they want to cover. So, that's just another sign of how, when you read between the lines, you see more clear, and you see that things aren't what what they're cracked up to be in those organizations. There's definitely somebody driving the vehicle and trying to go on one road versus going down a main road where we can all actually get along. Because sometimes I'm sick of seeing them. They come up with certain point of views that just exaggerate the problem and just don't need to be said. We know there's certain problems, certain situations going on. There's no need to keep repeating it and not look for more interesting and much more genuine information to talk about, you know. But hey, that's the main news media, and that's the mass media. That's the commercial media that is basically my competition, right? So, hey, I'm here. I'm trying to drop the jewels for you, and I'm also leaving you links, in a different format here on YouTube and Instagram and however else I was presented to you on Facebook. Just trying to give you some knowledge and leave you with a way that you can see how you can read between the lines. And that's what we are about here. So look for us on the next episode, all right? But before I go, there's a few more points. So, I did want to bring up the fact that, this COVID thing is being handled incorrectly. The police brutality, they're taking advantage of their power. They're not being held accountable for the problems that they've given, average citizens when they're supposed to be the hero and supposed to be serving and protecting us, and they're not doing that. They're out there taking advantage of us and abusing their power. Wanted to let it be known that we know these games are being played, but I believe as black people, we're very strong. We've been very strong. We're inventors. We're creators. We've done so much for this country. Your respect needs to be moved up. You need to come up many more levels. Your respect levels is just a shame. The amount of respect that you give the black community, and I'm talking about the people who can give the black community something. You know what I mean? And the amount of respect that y'all have given us, is not enough. Especially when you think about the children and the women, I mean, what you have done to us affects our whole community, slows us down when we have to now fight for rights and then get the job and then take it, raise the kids and then, look out for mom and dad. And, there's so many things that you put on a black person's plate that I feel it's a setup. You meant to do this so that you can take care of your agenda. You put a situation in front of us where we are distracted from enjoying our life, and you not only you are able to enjoy your life, but you're also setting up an agenda to make it harder for us to get out of the situation that we're in. This is what this terrible system that takes advantage of black people in America is doing. And I'm not talking about the whole system, but the parts of this system that takes advantage of black people. That's what they're doing. They're setting up their agenda and they're keeping us in a bind where we can't enjoy life. And that's exactly what they're doing. At least they're trying to. God is good. Definitely a balance out here in this universe. But we are feeling it right now. And, it just so happens that that's what does happen to good people. We go through it. It makes us stronger. It makes us more determined. It makes us have to make the change for, our people's coming up. So that's what it's about. Shining like a diamond. But also I wanted to talk about sports and how it is unfair. The fact that you have Colin Kaepernick taking a knee and he's not even able to play football because the owners won't hire him. Meanwhile, he's just as talented as most of the newer guys that are coming into the league, or some of the veterans that's in the league. So, he has a place, but because he's black and he stood up for black rights and against police brutality, he's looked down upon and he's not given the respect that he deserves, by the National Football League. And that's a shame. And then when it comes around to now these times in 2020, where, their police brutality is so rampant that it's being broadcast by people's cell phones all across the country now, and thank God for video, because if we didn't have the video, we wouldn't happen to have half of these incidents to be reporting. But now that we have the video, we're able to show how much of this police brutality has been going on across the country. And the fact that it has been going on is terrible. But, again, we are very resilient. And we just want to let it be known that we know you're playing games, and we're just letting you know we're so much better than that. And, you should be doing so much better with your time, Mr. President, instead of not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not standing up enough against the white racists, and you're not shutting them down enough or at all. And, by you supporting police, it's not a bad thing, but it's what they are doing. And they're not doing the right thing when it comes to accountability. So I wouldn't have no problem with, president supporting the police, but, the police have to do better. And that's the point. So you could support them, but support them doing better. Support them changing and reforming their system, because they're not treating us, appropriately or properly. They're not being fair. And they need to be held accountable for all of the games and all of the mistreatments that they have been doing, because it's just holding us back as a community, as people, and as a nation. So I wanted to let it be known that we see what's going on, and we're not going to be silent. We're building, we're striving, we're creating for better, and we will continue to do so. So, your boy New York DJ 360 here, about to sign out. Hope y'all enjoyed this 15-minute episode, and keep building with your peoples. Much love.